Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunshine Soap and Candle Company. Today I'm going to be sharing with you soap number 2 out of 4 for my September soap release. And last week I shared with you the honey spiced pear one, and this week I'm going to be sharing with you the Cracklin Birch soap. I think you're really going to like this fun and whimsical fall design that I'm going to be making on this soap today. And this fragrance smells absolutely amazing. I'll be talking about all of that in the video as well. The formula that I'm going to be using today is the same recipe that we used last week, and I shared it in the description box of last week's soap video, but I'll go ahead and share it in this week's video as well, so you can totally make this soap if you like. It makes a really nice hard conditioning bar of soap. And if you like this content or you find it helpful, I hope you'll consider joining my Patreon campaign. I'll go ahead and put the link to my campaign in the description box below. I'm a crowd-funded content creator, so your contribution to my campaign really helps me to keep doing what I do best, which is to share weekly content, recipes, and tutorials with you. All right, let's get started. All right, so just like last week, this container is full of olive oil, palm oil, castor oil, coconut oil, shea butter, stearic acid, sweet almond oil, and grapeseed oil. It's a really well-balanced soap with a great moisturizing lather, and it's also a really nice and hard bar of soap. And then in here I just have my lye and water solution. And I think I mentioned last week, as soon as I'm done using up all of my palm oil, I'm going to reformulate my soap recipe to be palm free. Okay, and we will be using the fragrance oil Cracklin Birch from Nature's Garden, and this is also something that I used a few years back, and I'm bringing it back, and I did use it last year in a different design. And the Cracklin Birch has been a great seller for me. It smells really good. It could also be considered a unisex fragrance. It just has a nice kind of like spicy and outdoorsy kind of smell. Really, really nice. And I'm probably not going to use as much fragrance, and I'll get to that when we get to the fragrance adding part. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and add in the lye and water solution into my oils and blend it up just to a very light trace. And you're going to notice some oil marks and stuff here, because this is the second batch of soap that I'm making today. And so, you know, obviously there's a little bit of mess going on when you're creating soap. So we're just pouring this in and going to give this a little bit of a blend. Stick blender is on low, just trying to get this emulsified. Just to emulsification here. Last time I used this fragrance oil, I didn't have any issues with it, but the time before that I did. And so, and it also is a very strong smelling fragrance, so reducing it didn't actually reduce how nice the soap smelled, but it did help me to make a little bit more of an intricate design without worrying that my soap was going to set up too fast. So we're gonna do that again. I did pour out the full amount of what I usually use my fragrance oil at. But I just think we are not going to use it all. You really don't need it. It's very strong, and it helped to not have any issues. The issues that I've had with this fragrance oil in the past is it's slightly discolored, and it also sped up a little bit. It gave me kind of a weird like yellow ash on the top of it. That's happened to me before with another fragrance. It's super weird because it's not like soda ash, but it's like a weird kind of yellow looking soda ash, but then the rest of the soap looked fine, and I had a design on the top that I really couldn't try to wash it off. So if you could tell me in the comments if you guys have ever experienced that before. I've experienced it twice. Once with the Cracklin Birch, and then another time with the Santa Spruce fragrance oil. It's like a yellow soda ash. It's just on the top. The inside of the soap doesn't discolor, just the top. So it's very bizarre. I don't have an explanation for it. So in this container, we're going to be adding in some Proud Peacock mica. This is from Nurture Soap. And I just am going for like a light kind of sky blue color. This is a nice color. It goes great with the fragrance Cracklin Birch. It just kind of reminds you of a crisp fall day. And we're just reusing the same containers that I used in the last batch of soap I made today. Just cleaned everything out with a paper towel, and that way we can minimize a ton of soap dishes. So just getting this combined with my spatula. I just added in a little bit of titanium dioxide in here, dispersed in water. I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. And then I'm going to employ the same technique that you saw in last week's video, where I hand stir the color in, give it a little bit of a blend, and then hand stir in the fragrance. We just want to make sure we have plenty of room or time to work. I'm wondering what you all are working on for your upcoming fall and holiday season. It'd be good. Place in the comments below what you're working on. I love to hear what other people are working on. It's great to collaborate in that way and see if you guys are all excited like I am, or maybe feeling a little burnout already. I know that can happen. Okay, just mixing in my color. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and blend up this blue. Just keeping it nice and thin. Alright, so here is my Cracklin Birch fragrance oil. As you can see, it's a dark yellow. Although it doesn't discolor, the only time I've experienced that was the one time I used it several years back, and it turned the top yellow. So this is at a 5% fragrance load, and it really doesn't need this much fragrance. It is a strong smelling one already. So what I'm going to do what I did last year and just use about half the rate of this. There we go. That should do it. And that should give me plenty of time to work without the issues. And we're just going to hand stir it in, just like I did last week. It smells so good though. It's worth like really working with it and trying to see what you can do to make it work in your formula. Just because it is such a nice fall fragrance. Okay, just making sure this gets totally blended in. Now for this one, we're just going to do a really simple in the pot swirl, because those turn out looking like you spent a long time on it, and they can look really intricate, but they're pretty easy to accomplish as long as your soap is the same texture. Each color is the same texture. And then we're going to be placing in a beautiful little red cardinal. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to be placing in a beautiful little red cardinal, and I made that in a column mold out of melt and pour soap. And then that means that each bar, when you cut it, will have a beautiful red cardinal, and it'll look like it's flying in a blue and white kind of sky. Okay, so this is perfect. texture right now, so we're going to go ahead and just do an in the pot swirl, and this is how I typically do it. We're going to get some nice and wispy swirls with this, so I go from up high and I just place it in different spots. That got to the bottom, so I'm gonna have to try and give that a little mix. Well, we'll give it one mix like that. So we're gonna get a nice and wispy in the pot swirl. So here's how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna fill it to about halfway, and then I'm going to add that bird in, and then we'll add the rest in over the top. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to go ahead and add in my bird. So this part can be a little bit tricky, because you want them to stay in the same spot. So I'm just going to kind of set him gently in. And then the only complaint about this column mold is I have to make two little pieces of it in order for it to fit the length of my mold, because it's just not long enough. Alright, now I see some of my blue is, I'm going to go ahead and give that kind of a stir in there just to make sure I'm getting some of that blue dispersed. And then we'll continue to pour over the top. And we should get a very beautiful wispy swirl in there with a cute little red bird. I'm not going to do anything to the top. I just want to continue that design, that wispy kind of swirl on the top. And then all I'm going to do with this one is spritz it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, again just to try to prevent soda ash. And then we're going to allow this one to set up for 24 hours, and then we'll cut it. All right, everybody, stay tuned for the cut. All right, we're ready to go ahead and cut the Cracklin Birch soap, and I just think it turned out so pretty with these beautiful wispy blue and white swirls. It just reminds me of a fall day with wispy thin clouds in the sky, and I can't wait to see what that little red bird looks like inside there. So this is already a really nice and hard bar of soap, like we talked about yesterday. Isn't that so cute? Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I just love the look of this soap. I got way better swirls than I had anticipated. I didn't really anticipate that the swirls were going to come out so detailed. I thought it was going to be more muddy. So I'm super pleased with this. Really, really cute. And the smell is nice and strong. Isn't that cute? All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this soap making video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Leave me some comments and questions below. Share this video with a friend, and why not subscribe to my channel? All right, everybody, catch you on the next video. Bye, keep shining.